Hello,
Uh,
hello. What's up,
hello.
Judah?
Not much, man. Back in the office studio here today, and rocking and
Mhm.
rolling, doing all kinds of good stuff. Rainy weather around here in the Mid Atlantic, as everybody has. I looked at the weather forecast yesterday, and it said chance of rain 100%.
Chance of what?
Chance of rain today 100%.
120%.
Yeah,
It's
how
it's
about it?
pretty crazy, right?
It is absolutely crazy. So this is the Build and Grow with Real Estate show. My name is Judah Hoover, and this guy over here is my co-host, Josh Weidman. We come to you every day from noon until about noon 30, and we discuss real estate topics.
Well,
After we
I'm stealing that line. I like that noon 30.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So we discuss after we discuss real estate topics and content after about 3 to 5 minutes of what we think is witty banter. I am sure that we are wrong about that, yet we at least are entertained by ourselves. So and then on Thursday we have a guest. And on Friday, we do a news roundup and apocalyptic prediction show.
Nice.
So, yeah, so we love you guys, and we are so glad that you are here and tune in. And our audience is growing daily. Frankly, Weidman and I are humbled and amazed by how many
Yeah.
people are tuning in, and that is very meaningful to us. So, if you're out there, don't forget to give us a like, give us a share, and make some comments, make some noise. Especially, yesterday we were talking about some stuff, and we had some people asking questions that we were able to field as we went through the show. So, absolutely make yourself heard. But more than that, that's something that content creators say to kind of create engagement. What's funny is, Josh, like, we're to the point now where I feel like we've probably known most of our audience members up to this point, but as we grow, more and more people don't just know us outside of doing this show. And so yes, very well deserved. Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Brandon. Love it, man.
So I think it's just really important to say that, for those of you that don't know us, Josh and I are just real authentic dudes who have both been doing real estate for about 20 years. And during the shutdown, we still wanted to deliver content to people when all the meetups were down and everything like that. And we're getting so much good feedback that we've decided to just keep on doing the show, and and appreciate everybody for checking us out. Who the heck are you, Josh?
Yeah, my name's Josh Weidman. I'm a real estate investor and hard money lender. If you are looking to fund your next project, whether you, all right, so let me back up 2 seconds here. All right. Hard Money Bankers, we've been around since 2007. We've done over 3,000 loans. The reason that we have been so successful is because we're a direct lender. We're no baloney. All of our offices are run by one of our partners that is an experienced real estate investor. We've all done flips. We've all had our own rentals and have our own rentals. We've all invested and wholesaled and done things, a lot of things related to real estate. So we're able to move really quickly. So if you've got a project that you're thinking about, you need some funding on, whether it's, whether you just need construction funding or you need some help buying the thing or whatever the case might be, reach out to us. My number's right here on the bottom, 717-213-8488. Within an hour or two, we'll be able to underwrite the loan, get you approved for the loan. And then with just a little bit of paperwork, we can fund. So if you have a project in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, Northern Virginia, or DC, give me a call today, 717-213-8488, or go online to hardmoneybankers.com. Before I turn this back over to Judah, I want to say, I get calls all the time from people that want to put a deal in front of me. They're looking for funding on the deal. And I start looking at the numbers, and almost the first thing out of my mouth is, your ARV is way off. Right now we're in a time where houses are flying off the market. Things are happening so quickly that people are grabbing what they can, and sometimes they're getting bad information. Sometimes it's their own bad information that it's like, hey, this house is 4 blocks away. It looks like a pretty comparable property, but when you dig into it, it's like, well, you're not putting the the high-end countertops and like the custom kitchen and the custom bathroom and finished basement, and you're doing a $20,000 cosmetic rehab. You can't use that as a comp, or this place has twice the square footage. It might be the same neighborhood, but it's twice the house. There's a lot of things that go into underwriting a loan with us that go way beyond what you'd see from a regular lender who's like, he's just looking, or she's just looking at loaning you money. I want us to have mutual success. I want to build relationships with people that in the long term, we're all making money together. Yes, we cost some money. Yes, we're a hard money lender. But if you need money to, to buy and fund and renovate your projects, give me a ring, reach out to me. If you just have a project that you're looking at making an offer on, reach out to me. I'd be happy to talk you through it, talk about, what you got going on. And, believe it or not, I have a lot of contacts for wholesalers and agents that have pre-listings that sometimes, hey, I might be a good resource just to tap for, to find properties. So regardless, give me a ring. Let's talk. If you're looking to buy or sell your house, I'm not the guy to talk to. This guy over here is. All right, Judah, tell us about yourself. Tell us how much of a rock star you are, because you really are.
Wow, I thank you very much. Definitely try to keep myself humble, but when you're this awesome, it can be a little. Sorry, it's all sarcasm and false bravado, ladies and gentlemen. If you're new to the show, my name is Judah. I'm an executive with Slate House Group, and we are a modern real estate company. I want to be your agent when it comes time to buy and sell your next property, whether that's an investment property, whether that is a primary residence, or anything else. I am really focused on trying to get as many people to list houses as possible right now because the market is so stinking good. I was commiserating with a realtor friend of mine just last night, and she was telling me how she wrote up 3 offers on Sunday. One of them for $20,000 over listing, one of them for $10,000 over listing, and they were all 3 of her offers were rejected. So if you want to sell your real estate, now is the time to do that, because you are going to be in a competing offer situation almost for sure. It is a seller's market, and conversely, if you're looking to buy real estate, I want to help you there too, because it takes somebody who knows how to negotiate, knows most of the players in town, because I've been doing this for 20 years. I know all the real estate agents who are worth knowing in central Pennsylvania. Sorry, I was way more than a minute. That's who I am.
Listen, I'm as you're talking, I don't mean to have my eyes going all over the place, but I just got confirmation for our guest on Thursday.
Nice.
We're going to have Tony Mayo on here. Tony Mayo is an executive coach, typically deals with CEOs and business owners, and talking to them about how to develop their business from being so immersed in the business to having a really balanced and a balanced life that promotes a very successful business where everybody involved is in a win-win, and how to really develop yourself from even from day one to taking yourself to the next level. But if you are a high level business person, he's a really great guy to talk to. I worked with him for about 3 years. Fantastic content. But as we're sitting here, an email notification popped up.
So why would we be talking to somebody like that this week, Josh?
Yeah, there you go. All right, so we've been talking about goals this week. That's what we're talking about. It is the right time right now to start planning for 2021. This year is still, we're over halfway done, and it's time to start putting the pieces in place. And yesterday we talked about, the importance of goal setting, what that looks like, having a timeline, having some very definitive and measurable goals. And, we touched on a little bit why it's important, but today we're going to really delve into that. Judah, I'm telling you, I'm really impressed with the content that you put together today. I made the slides. Judah is the brains behind the operation today. So, I'm really excited to go into this and take a look. Let's jump in here. I'm going to share my screen. Boom. So today, the topic is creating goals as a guide for personal success. I am a huge advocate of living your best life. I think it is the most important thing that you can do, to cultivate great relationships, happiness, and beyond happiness, real joy in your life is live the best life possible. You do you as best as you possibly can.
Yeah, and I think that before we even get into goals here, the first thing that I want to kind of talk about is how this used to not be a very important topic for me, and used to not be something that I was too terribly interested in, because it came kind of very naturally to me.
Yeah.
Kind of like speaking comes very naturally to me. So I was I put off learning and developing public speaking for longer than I should have, because it naturally came to me. I
Yeah.
did not spend as much time, effort, and energy on goals as I should have, because it came so naturally to me. And I think that there's probably a lot of people out there who are goal oriented and don't set goals because they don't have to. And I can just tell you what I've found over the past 3 to 5 years, really the last 2 years, has been how much more successful I've been able to be, and how much further I've been able to move because of setting goals. And I found myself in a spot where I'm a very motivated person, but I lacked motivation to do a lot of things because of some major setbacks that I've had. And I found that by setting goals, not only was I able to achieve more, but I was able to kind of effortlessly achieve more because I was manufacturing motivation. And
Well,
so when you are out there listening to this content, if you're a goal setter, I think this will make you a better goal setter. If it's just kind of
mhm.
something like you naturally do that you don't have to put a whole lot of effort into, I think this will make you better. Or if you find yourself somebody who kind of has some goals that you want to accomplish, but you're struggling to create the motivation to actually take action, I think that this will help as well.
Well, Judah, I want to piggyback on what you just said there. You weren't physically sitting down writing down your goals, but I'll bet you that
Oh,
you
it
have.
was just all up here. I like had goals. Like I never sat down and wrote goals because, of course, I have goals. I'm
Yeah.
naturally a goal oriented person. So when I actually started going through the process of, I am going to do this, this, and this by this date, and also I want to do this fun activity, but I'm
Yeah.
not going to do that until I want to go on a 2-day weekend trip, or I want to do whatever. I want to get myself this bottle of scotch. You know what? I am not going to do that until I complete this project and this project.
Yeah.
Once
Uh,
I do this project and this project, then I am going to allow myself to celebrate by doing XYZ.
that's right.
So
All right.
we're gonna talk more about today about the psychology behind goal setting, and how goals can manufacture motivation. And then later in the week, we're going to get into specifically step by step how to set goals.
That's right. All right. So let's jump in here. So, why do goals help us to achieve more?
Well, because I mean, we've all heard the saying, right? That goals. If you want something busy, ask a
You
busy
want
ask
something
a
done.
what's that?
You said if you want something done.
Ask a busy person to do it, right? And the reason is because busy people have found a way to get stuff done, because the world around us is chaos. I remember hearing one time about a guy who was blind until he was like 25, and he was able to receive sight at that point.
Yeah.
And like, the guy almost went crazy and had to just sit in a room,
Yeah.
dark rooms, the rest of his life. Like, we have so much information coming at us all the time. It's amazing that we see anything. It's amazing how we are able to shut out so much information. And
Hmm.
so when you are being bombarded by a whole bunch of stuff, when you set a goal and you write it down and you look at it, your subconscious mind says, okay, that's going to happen. And so your subconscious mind says, or a busy woman for sure, Jana. So your subconscious mind says, um, everything falls into one of two categories: either gets me to my goal or doesn't get me to my goal. Let
Hmm.
me just give you an example. I don't argue with people on Facebook about politics because it doesn't get me to my goal. Now, I enjoy discussing politics with people. but I am a goal-oriented person. And so there's a lot of people who can't pull themselves out of Facebook, and they can't pull themselves away from Netflix, and they can't pull themselves away from different things. It's because they haven't set a goal, so that their subconscious mind just naturally brings the world into focus. Now, here's the crazy thing. There was a Toronto study that looked at the impact of goals. Really, what this Toronto study was trying to do is say, how do we hire better people? You know what I mean? And what do we look for when we're hiring better people? And if we have some good people, how can we make them better people? And if we have awful people, how do we make them at least somewhat good people? And it turns out there's really nothing you can do with the bottom 15% of your employees, and you should just go ahead and fire them. But can you make better employees? Can you make good employees better employees, and better employees excellent employees? And the truth is, yes, it's absolutely possible. And these were objective results, because what they did is, like, if you were in sales, they looked at what, did your sales improve? And if you were, by peer reporting and subordinate surveys and other management evaluations, they looked and they were able to objectively come up with the fact that goal setting does in fact help improve your performance as an employee. Let's go to the next slide.
Right.
So they set up the groups into two different groups, and they said, okay, this would be interesting. Group A, we're going to have just do work-related goals, and all that they are going to do is set work-related goals and about their job and about their income and about what they want to get accomplished and things like that. The other group of people, what they did is they said, okay, we want you guys to set personal goals. Focus on personal goals. So you talked about this yesterday, Josh. These would be like health and relational goals, spiritual goals, those types of things. And what they found out was that people who set personal goals did better at work than the people who set the work goals. And the reason is because your mind understands that I should be contributing to society. I should be bringing value to society. I should be bringing value to the universe. And if you're not, you're going to be overcome by this overall sense of lackadaisicalness and this overall sense of malaise. Whereas if you start contributing first to yourself, then to your family, then to your community, and you start making yourself better, you are going to be better. And your subconscious mind is going to say, I like that I work out and feel better because of what I do at the gym. I like what I do for my church. I like, the kindergartners that I get to help, shepherd to the bus and make sure that they, I like all these community activities that I'm involved with. And working my job or working my side hustle, real estate, is how I fund that. So therefore, your subconscious mind says, my job is really an extension of who I am personally, and I like who I am personally. Therefore, I like my job. See, a lot of people hate their jobs and they don't like their jobs, but really it's that they're probably not happy with themselves in whole or in total. And if they got more meaning out of life, and if they did more things, they would like it more. So there's a lot of people who yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to piggyback on this, okay? And somebody pointed this out to me. It was someone related to my church, and I can't remember if it was a pastor or if it was just a friend of mine. But he put it like this, in our world right now, everyone is pursuing happiness. And happiness is nice, but it's fleeting and momentary. It is. I mean, it is. But you can't be eternally happy. Right? No. You just can't. And honestly, you need pain and sadness to even make happiness worth it. But what you can pursue and always have, even in sadness, is joy. Joy is this feeling of accomplishment and justification and fulfillment from an activity that is worthwhile, that is hard fought and difficult, and it becomes an accomplishment when you reach that, or obtain that. And you think about, if you look back on your life, the things that you are most proudest, the things of which you're most proud.
Proudest of?
Yeah, I know, most proudest. I call it myself, right? The things that really fill you with a sense of real accomplishment and that feeling of joy that you can go back and tap at any minute. They're completely different than the haphazard happiness that comes and goes throughout the day.
Right. It's responsibility and meaning is what you should be chasing.
Right.
Because ultimately happiness is hedonism. And we don't have to turn this into a smut show talking about what hedonism leads to. Like, I mean, ultimately that is happiness is selfish. Happiness is inward focused. Happiness is, um it's not objective either. Whereas contributing to society, bringing meaning to society is ultimately going to be much more rewarding because because it doesn't matter whether you're happy or not. It doesn't matter what your mood is. You're able to give back, and that's great, Josh. I never thought of that. Is that I always talk about responsibility and contribution, and you talk about joy. And sure, joy is what comes out of that, and joy is different than happiness. Joy is that sense of satisfaction, that sense of pride, not like arrogant pride, but like, look what I did. I feel so good. It's why I post pictures of my food on Facebook, because I love creating something, and I love feeding people and then be like, wow, this is very good. This is very nourishing. Like, I've contributed to them. I've put hard work and spent money on making food. And if I would have chased happiness, I would have just sat and read a book. I just would have sat and watched Netflix. But ultimately, I have much more satisfaction. And so, what we need to do is, as entrepreneurs, we need to come up with personal goals. Jana said it yesterday. I want to have money. Well, money is very hollow and shallow. What are you going to do with that money? What checks are you going to write? What? How are you going to contribute and give back? Do you have another slide here for us, my friend?
Well, I will in 1 second, but think about some
Yep.
of our guests we've had on here. Eric Brewer, he raised $10,000 for the York City food bank, right?
Yep. Yep.
You don't have to do that. That took
Right.
a lot of effort and focus away from his day-to-day business, but I guarantee you he got a lot more out of that. And other people got a lot more out of that than him buying the distressed property, right?
Right.
And you think of Anthony Moore. Anthony Moore has a charity that's geared towards helping people in his community that are like him, that, to show them the light at the end of the tunnel, show them how to help themselves out and to help them, take that step towards, towards success. And like, people don't do this because they don't get anything out of it.
Right.
We're all selfish people, and I'm not saying that their motives are selfish, but we do these things that matter to us because they make us feel great. And
Right.
when we accomplish them, it's a real accomplishment, and it helps everyone else along the way.
Yeah.
So
So the bottom line is there, just to hit on that, is if you set personal goals as well as business goals. If you set personal goals, your subconscious mind is going to say, I'm a worthwhile individual.
mhm,
What I do is worthwhile, and therefore and how I support my worthwhile individualness is by my side hustle and my job. So if you have trouble motivating yourself to find time for your side hustle or to do the work in your side hustle, there's parts of real estate that I don't like. There's parts of real estate I love, but I am able to push through the parts that I don't love about real estate, because ultimately it leads me to the things that I do want. So if you want joy, if you want to enjoy your work, whether it be your side hustle or your job, find a cause to support. Like, go down to Water Street Rescue Mission here in Lancaster and volunteer on a Saturday and get close up to those people and feel the financial needs that they have, so that you say, I want to write a check for $5,000 to these people. You know what
yeah,
I mean? Like, make your why should make you cry. Make your why as big and meaningful as possible. When you invest your time and your life in worthwhile activities, motivation just is manufactured. You don't have to try to motivate yourself. It just happens. I wanted to come to work today, but because I was up too late last night, I was dragging a little bit. So I blared some Eminem and some Imagine Dragons and some other songs that I used to jazz myself up a little bit. Like that got me like moving, but I already had the motivation. You know what I mean? Like that gave me the physical energy. Sometimes I have to give myself physical energy, but because I'm a goal oriented person, I don't have to do anything to give myself the mental or emotional or spiritual energy. So setting goals in your personal life will assist you in reaching goals in your business as well. Because what happens is when you move towards your goal, your brain sets up a dopaminic uh, connection. And here's the funny thing. Have you seen those memes on Facebook, Josh, that say like, crack cocaine releases the exact same chemical in your brain as sugar.
Yeah.
Sugar is awful.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, it's called dopamine. Like helping an old lady across the street releases that chemical too. You know what I mean? Like dopamine and serotonin are what your brain works on. And so
Right.
when you set a goal, what happens is every time you move towards that goal, your brain says, "Attaboy, good job, great. Here's a little bit of a dopamine hit." And when
Yep.
you regularly do that, you actually become addicted to that response. You become addicted to that behavior. And so it's now people can take this way too far, and it's why people get to be workaholics and why people can't shut off their brain and things like that because they've overwired themselves. And believe me, like have people in your life who set up balance and stuff like that so that doesn't happen. But when you set up that dopaminic connection to actually achieve things, here's the funny thing that you have to watch out for. As soon as you accomplish your goal, you might feel let down. You might feel, oh, I did all this and I don't feel great. I don't feel euphoric. I don't feel orgasmic over this. It felt good working there. I thought as soon as I, got to the top of Mount Everest that I would just have this explosion of happiness. Well, no, that unfortunately just is not how it works. What you do then is set another goal, set a bigger
Well,
goal. Give yourself, and the other thing is that it's perfectly fine to do is, what, I just got these 3 huge projects done. I'm taking 2 weeks off goals. I'm still going to go to work. I'm still going to work my business, but I'm not, I'm going to allow myself to be a little bit aimless and listless right now. But set that goal again because when you set goals, it focuses and it filters out. Dude, I thought I didn't even think that you had more slides here.
I know. I
Um,
keep going. This is the last one. Sorry.
you're doing great, but this is exactly what we talked about here. Is when you set a goal, it filters out what gets you to that goal. We end right where we started. It gets you to that goal or it doesn't get you to that goal. Well, excuse me, and it's not even that. It's when you set a goal, everything is either related to that goal or not related to that goal.
When I set a roadmap, here was my thought. Right.
Right,
You're going down the street. There's all these side roads that you can
right,
go on, and there's different ways to get to that end destination. But some of these roads, they just take you down the road and, you see it on your GPS. It's like, oh, this is an alternate route. It's going to
right,
add 40 years to your,
right,
to your destination. So that was kind of my thought process there. This is the goal is guidance to take you to the destination that you want to get to. You
right,
get to select the goal. That's a
right.
beautiful thing about it. It could be get out of bed in the morning. Who
Right. So
knows?
when you set a goal, everything either becomes about that goal or not about that goal.
Right.
And now here's the thing. It's not moves me towards or away because that actually isn't it. It's about the goal or not about the goal. And the things that are about the goal get separated further into 2 categories: obstacles and facilitators. So this is something that will help me facilitate my goal, or this is actually an obstacle to my goal. Now, here's the problem that real estate investors make. This is mind blowing this should be mind blowing to a lot of people. They say, okay, bigger pockets is related to my goal. Therefore, I'm going to take it in. And then they say it's a facilitator to my goal when it's not. Reading articles on bigger pockets and posting and commenting and everything like that in small doses can be a facilitator to your goal.
Yeah.
In large doses, it's an obstacle to your goal. So when you are setting a goal, it's why I have this love-hate relationship with coaches, mentors in the real estate and sales and motivation segment, as well as in the real estate information business, because they allow people, the trick that they play is to take an obstacle and package it as a facilitator because it's related to the goal. So your subconscious mind allows it in because it's related to my goals. It's not disassociated with my goals. And then the skill of the salesman is to take this obstacle and present it as a facilitator because what they want is the money from it. Does that make sense, Josh?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, the whole idea, the whole reason and the why for goal setting is you can build the best life, live the best possible life that you can. You
Right.
know, your best life. And for some people, that's buying their first home or that's buying a home for their family. For other people, that's, you know, making $1 billion on a a tech startup or a regular business startup. Yeah, I saw a video. If you don't follow Gary Vee on Facebook, I I got to tell you, you should. When this is over, go type in Gary Vee, like and follow his stuff.
Absolutely.
He's pretty amazing. But not too long ago, I saw a video. He's sitting in a cab talking to the camera. Somebody recognizes him on the street, runs up and knocks on the window. And they're like, "Hey, Gary, can you give me a piece of advice? Is there some kind of advice or motivation that I can use here?" And he turns and looks at him, and without skipping a beat, he says, "You're gonna die." And it was, I mean, this woman was like, "What? I'm going to die." He goes, "Yeah, one day you're going to be dead. So make the most of the life that you have." And it was like, oh my goodness. I mean, that's so many people, they find out they have cancer and it's life changing. They go through this, some crazy life altering experience where things get really hard and they completely change the way they live. And, a lot of times, actually, we talked about this yesterday, Judah, a little bit. A lot of times it takes that catalyst, that thing that goes wrong, that terrible incident in our life to really make us realize that, my goodness, I don't have to do this. This isn't something that I have to be involved in. This is something I get to do. And you can change your perspective on life really easily by changing your language. If you find yourself saying, "I have to do this, I have to do that," change a little phrase. Change it to, "I get to."
I get to.
I
Right.
get to watch my kids on Saturday while my wife goes to work out. I get to hang out with, so and so. I get to speak at this event. I get to go to this
It's so
event.
funny you say that because I use the exact same trick all the time
Yeah.
about job, about my kids, about, other all kinds of other things like that. Yep. I get to.
And one of the most devastating things for me is realizing that I am no longer a 20 something. I am actually in middle age. So
Right.
if I'm lucky, I have the same amount of life left to live that I've already burned through.
Right.
Your life is the most valuable capital that you have, but it's only valuable if you use it.
Right.
You got to take advantage of it. And man, yeah, I'm done with my soapbox. Like, that's it. That's my message. That's all.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, listen, we really appreciate everybody tuning in and checking us out today. There's a lot of people who, made some comments here. We certainly appreciate that. We are on a number of different platforms, and we are always looking to add platforms. Josh, by the way, I gotta talk to you about adding some YouTube stuff here. To add some ideas about that. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be back here at noon again tomorrow. Please like this show. Please comment. Please share. We do not take any of that for granted. And we are truly humbled by the love and support that we get from all of you guys. And you mean very much to us. Thanks very much. And we'll be back here at noon again tomorrow.
See you more. See you tomorrow, everybody. Take care. Whoa.